For the last 100 years, psychologists have told you a very specific, very depressing lie. They told you that your IQ is like your height. They said that once you hit adulthood, the number is locked. If you are average, you stay average. If you are a genius, you stay a genius. And if you struggle to learn, well, bad luck, it's genetic. They told you that you can learn new facts, but you cannot upgrade the processor. But recently, that narrative has collapsed. In 2008, a groundbreaking study at the University of Michigan shocked the scientific world. Researchers discovered that with a specific type of cognitive training, adults could actually increase their fluid intelligence, the raw processing power of the brain, by a significant margin. And the scariest part? Most of us are doing the exact opposite. We are engaging in daily habits that are actively shrinking our cognitive capacity. We aren't just stagnating, we are getting slower. Today, we are going to look at the neuroscience of upgrading your hardware. We are going to debunk the fixed mindset myth, and I am going to give you 3 specific, uncomfortable habits that don't just make you smarter, they physically restructure your brain. This is not about reading more books. This is about changing the engine. To understand how to increase IQ, we first need to define what IQ actually is. Psychologists divide intelligence into 2 main categories: crystallized intelligence and fluid intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is your hard drive. It's the facts you know, the capital of France, how to ride a bike, the vocabulary you use. This tends to go up as you get older. Fluid intelligence is your RAM. It is your ability to solve new problems, identify patterns, and learn things you have never seen before. This is what we usually mean when we say someone is smart. And this is the number they said was fixed. But here is where the concept of neuroplasticity changes the game. Your brain is not a computer chip, it is a forest. Every time you think a thought or practice a skill, you are walking a path through that forest. If you walk it once, the grass bends. If you walk it 1,000 times, it becomes a dirt road. If you walk it 1,000,000 times, it becomes a paved superhighway. This process is called myelination. A fatty substance called myelin wraps around the neural connection, insulating it and making the signal travel up to 100 times faster. So why aren't we all geniuses? Because most of us stop building new roads at age 25. We get comfortable. We do the same job. We talk to the same people. We watch the same shows. We rely on our crystallized intelligence, our old habits, because it is easy. When you rely on what you already know, your fluid intelligence atrophies. Use it or lose it. The Michigan study found that to increase IQ, you need high cognitive resistance. You need to feel stupid. If you are reading a book and you understand every word, you aren't increasing your IQ. You are just reinforcing your current level. Growth only happens in the zone of proximal development, that frustrating, headache-inducing sweet spot where you are failing, struggling, and forcing the brain to rewire itself to survive the demand. We need to stop treating the brain like a storage unit and start treating it like a muscle that needs to fail in order to grow. Imagine you go to the gym. You walk over to the rack, pick up a 2-pound pink dumbbell, and you curl it. You do this every day for 10 years. You do thousands of reps. You are the master of the 2-pound curl. Do you have big arms? No. Are you stronger? No. You are just really efficient at a task that requires 0 effort. This is what most people call brain training. Doing Sudoku is the 2-pound dumbbell. Reading easy news articles is the 2-pound dumbbell. Scrolling TikTok is sitting on the bench watching other people lift weights. Now, imagine a different guy. He walks in and tries to deadlift 300 pounds. He can't do it. He shakes. He sweats. He fails. He leaves the gym exhausted and sore. But biologically, something amazing is happening. His body recognizes the stress. It sends a signal. We are not strong enough to survive this environment. Build more muscle. 2 days later, he comes back stronger. The brain works exactly the same way. If you want a higher IQ, you have to lift heavy mental weights. You have to chase the feeling of confusion. That feeling of, my brain hurts? That isn't a sign to stop. That is the feeling of neurogenesis. That is the feeling of the forest clearing a new path. Comfort is the enemy of intelligence. So, how do we deadlift with our brains? Here are 3 habits that provide the progressive overload needed to increase fluid intelligence. Step 1. The dual N-back training. This is the only brain game that has stood up to scientific scrutiny. Most brain games make you better at the game. Dual N-back makes you better at everything else. Here's how it works. You sit at a computer. You hear a letter spoken, and you see a square flash on a grid. You have to remember if the letter you just heard is the same as the one 2 steps back. Simultaneously, you have to remember if the square is in the same position as the one 2 steps back. It sounds confusing. That is the point. It forces your working memory to hold and manipulate multiple streams of data at once. It is incredibly frustrating. You will hate it. But the studies show that 20 minutes a day for 20 days can significantly increase your scores on totally unrelated intelligence tests. There are free apps for this. Download one. Commit to the frustration. Step 2. Visuo-Motor complexity. We tend to think of IQ as sitting in a chair and thinking hard. But from an evolutionary standpoint, the brain was designed to move the body through complex space. One of the most powerful triggers for BDNF, which is basically Miracle-Gro for your neurons, is complex movement. I don't mean running on a treadmill. I mean movement where you have to think. Juggling, dancing, martial arts. A study from the University of Oxford found that learning to juggle increased the density of white matter in the brain by 5% in just 6 weeks. White matter is the cabling that connects different parts of your brain. Better cabling means faster processing. Pick a skill that requires hand-eye coordination and balance. If you aren't dropping the ball or tripping over your feet, it's too easy. Step 3. The Feynman synthesis. Richard Feynman was a Nobel Prize-winning physicist with a massive IQ. His secret wasn't that he read more than everyone else. It was how he processed what he read. Most people read passively. The information goes in one ear and out the other. To increase IQ, you must consume information actively. Adopt the Feynman technique. 1. Learn a new, difficult concept. 2. Try to explain it on a blank sheet of paper as if you were teaching a 12-year-old. 3. Identify the gaps where your explanation gets murky or complicated. 4. Go back to the source material to fill those gaps. This process forces you to compress complex information into simple logic. This compression is intelligence. Don't just consume content, recreate it. The old model of the world said you were dealt a hand of cards at birth, and you had to play them until you died. The new model says you are the dealer. You can reshuffle the deck. You can draw new cards. But you have to be willing to sit at the table and do the work. Increasing your IQ isn't about being smart so you can brag. It's about increasing your resolution of the world. It's about seeing patterns others miss. It's about solving problems that seem impossible. It requires you to embrace the struggle, to seek out the confusion, to fall in love with the feeling of not knowing the answer. Because on the other side of that frustration is a better, faster, sharper version of you. I want to challenge you. Pick one of these habits, the N-back, the juggling, or the Feynman technique, and try it for 30 days. Then come back here and tell me how your mind has changed. If this video sparked a new neural pathway for you, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm find other smart people like you. I'll see you in the next one.